Welcome back to Craft Corner. On today's Craft Corner, we have a fun and exciting craft that's easy. It's no sewing, no anything. You just need a t-shirt and a pair of scissors. Today we're going to be making these fun and lovely t-shirt totes. Now a t-shirt tote is just that. You just cut certain parts of the t-shirt off, tie it up, and then you have these lovely bags that are pretty durable because your t-shirt is cotton. And it's pretty durable. It's a really easy craft. It just takes some cutting and some tying. I think the most time you need is once you're tying these little fringes up here. But once you do one, you're going to love it and start to do more. So we're going to begin with you turn your t-shirt inside out. And what you will be cutting will be the sleeves off of both of your t-shirts, and you're going to cut the neck off depending on how deep you want the neck to be. So we're going to start by doing that. Now, where I like to cut the seam right here, you cut all around the seam, which is the perfect guide for you. You cut around the seam, and then the neck, you cut that off, but it depends on how big you want your opening of your t-shirt to be, your bag. That'll depend on that. But without further ado, let's start. I guess it's easier if you just go ahead and cut down to the seam. And then once you hit the very end of the seam, if you can see this yellow may not have been the best color choice, you go around and you cut the seam part. It doesn't matter if you go too far or you cut out of, not where it's really straight, because I mean, these are just nice crafts, nice bags, because at the end, they look homemade and they're just perfect. Like I say, these will be my new garden bags, grocery store bags, all types of bags. I'm really glad that I found how to make these because I am a big tote bag person. I purchase a lot of totes, and I also have a lot of t-shirts. So this is like a win-win for me because I have the t-shirts, I like totes, and some of my older t-shirts, I can go ahead and make these totes out of them. It'd be a great gift to give somebody, with their favorite theme or sports team or anything like that, to get a t-shirt and then make it out of a tote bag. And it's even better for people with a lot of t-shirts that are old that they don't wear anymore and don't know what to do with them. So like I said, if you're a bag person, this is the perfect craft for you. Okay, so I'm almost done with the sleeves, so I can show you that I've cut around the seam of the arm. Almost there. Let's get this last little piece going. Okay, so I cut the seam off the arm. I need to find something to do with this little scrap here, so I'm not going to throw it away. I'm going to find something. Maybe, depending on the color, I could be using my fabric sheets that I'm using. So, anyway, back to the tote project. Here's how the shirt should look. So you've cut the seam around the sleeve of the shirt, and that's going to be the arm. You're going to have the two arms, and then your bag. And I shouldn't say the arm, that'll be the strap for your tote bag. So just as I've shown you that, I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Then I'll come back and then we'll cut the neck for it before we get to the last part, which will be what keeps the items in and pulls the whole tote together. So after I cut this off, I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. So I've cut the two arms off, which will be the handles. Now, as with this, if your t-shirt has some type of print or design, you might want to turn it on the right side because you don't want to make your opening to cut into the design. But since this one doesn't, I'm going to go ahead and keep it turned inside out. So that's the only thing that you need to be concerned with. So now you want your neck to be, mind you, this is going to be the opening of the bag. These are your handles. So you're trying to get, you know, a decent size handle to be, for your tote bag, for the strength of it. You don't want to cut like right here and have a really thin handle arm for the tote. So it just depends on what you want. But I think if I cut my straps like about here and do a little scoop, that should be perfect. Let's see if my nail can, actually my nail is doing a pretty good job of making like a line, an imprint. So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be easy. It's a tote bag. So I'm going to try to be even. I doubt if it's going to happen, but, and just cut. I guess in the end, you could put them like this to cut. I wonder if it's too late to do that. Let's see. We'll try to make it even. Turn it this way. I don't know if that helped anything. Live and learn. So I'm going to keep cutting and try. No, I think I made it worse. Try to cut. Okay, I should do it this way. Okay. Just trying to make my straps a little even. Okay, that works for me. So, I mean, I'm gonna have to clean this little piece up where I switched what I was doing, but the basis is this. So this is your tote. So these are your arms, and this is where you drop your items in here. So I'm not gonna clean that up now. I'll clean that up later. Now you need to decide how big you want your bag to be. So now your arms are here. You only want to cut so far. You don't want fringe up to here, so then you only have this much bag space. So I would say fairly down to the bottom of the bag. Get your t-shirt laid out straight. And what you're going to do is when you decide on, this is the opening of the bag, how much space you want, down to the bottom, I think this is going to be a good size space. You cut as straight as line as possible. It doesn't have to be that straight, but you know, you want it to be kind of straight. I think that's going to be good. So that's your first fringe. So then you take your scissors and you cut another fringe and you line it up to be the same size. Now this end piece, because the shirt is closed together, what you want to do is cut that in half so you'll be able to tie it in the knot to close the bag. So let's cut this in half all the way to where it stops. Okay, and then cut another fringe. Now the one thing that I did learn when I was making the first bag from the second bag now to the third bag is, to me, it's a little repetitive. So in order not to just cut all of these and have to go back and tie the knots, after about 3 or 4, I will go ahead and stop and tie the knots. And for the knot, it's just a simple knot. That's all it is. You just want to tie it, shut it to make a knot, and that keeps your items inside the bag. Once again, just make a tie and then shut it to make a knot. So it made it faster and easier from the first bag to the second bag, not doing the whole, cutting the whole shirt, then having to go back and then tie the whole shirt. So with that being what takes the most time for the project, I'm going to go ahead, I'll cut a few more, and then I'll come back with the finished product. So like I say, just go ahead and keep cutting, you know, try to keep the lines about the same thickness, but I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is a craft, so it's just something nice to have, something nice to do, actually something nice to give. I plan on giving these out with certain things that I know people like, certain t-shirts. I plan on doing these for Mother's Day for a few people, so this is just giving me more practice to get it, you know, as nice as possible as a gift-giving gift. So we're going to tie, and I'll show you in a second how it's looking before I go ahead and finish the whole t-shirt. So we have a few done. So this is just basically what you're looking for. These little knots, like I say, you can tie it, and then once you're done, maybe pull it together, whatever. So this is what the t-shirt is going to come together to look like in the end. But like I said, this takes not a lot of time, but it does take a few minutes. So instead of boring you with that, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting, and then I'll come right back at the end once I'm finished to finish up and show you the finished look of the project, which only takes maybe 10 minutes max. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back, and here is the finished product. So we have your handles for your arms, your neck is the opening, and you have the ties here at the bottom. I filled this one up that I made before with just newspaper just to show you how nice this is to have this. So like I say, get those old t-shirts out. This will be a lovely gift to make for someone. Like I say, get their favorite sports team or something that they like and have a decal, or get an iron-on decal, and after you've made it, iron on the decal to put on there. But I just think this is a fun craft. You get to make something out of something you have to reuse it, a repurpose craft, I would say. And don't forget with these, do not throw these away. We're going to find something to make or use these for in the future with our future projects. But like I say, with Mother's Day coming up, this is a perfect gift for someone who has totes, who loves totes. So I'd like to thank you again for joining me at Craft Corner, and be looking for the next crafts to come. So thank you again and have a good day.